Conservative Magazine. Trump too old. The prominent conservative publication National Review has characterized Donald Trump as too elderly and projected that he will not win the 2024 election. Jim Geraghty, a senior political journalist for the National Review's Morning Jolt newsletter, recently slammed the president for his remarks on the ethnicity of Vice President Kamala Harris. On Wednesday, Trump made the accusation that the presumed Democratic nominee for 2024, a woman whose parents are of Indian and Jamaican descent, had happened to turn black for political advantage during an interview at the National Association of Black Journalists convention. In addition to pointing to Trump's advanced age as a problem, Geraghty, a writer for The Washington Post, has now implied that the remarks will hurt the Republican candidate in November. As a result of President Joe Biden's decision to not seek re-election, Trump, at the age of 78, became the oldest contender for the office in United States history. Biden is 81 years old. Following his re-election in November, Trump has the potential to surpass Biden as the oldest-serving president of the United States. The Republican nominee is too distinctive in his interests and stirs, too old, too racially obsessive, too stupid, Geraghty wrote. The polls have recently leveled off, and he's likely to lose the presidential campaign to a vice president who botched the country's immigration policy, is inconsistent on every subject, must defend the greatest inflation rate in 40 years, and has caused international anarchy. The greatest way for Trump to win over an African-American audience, according to him, is to cast doubt on her race. Some Republican politicians have speculated that Harris is merely on the Democratic ticket as a diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) appointment, and Trump's comments at the NABJ in response to this topic drew widespread condemnation. It wasn't until she unexpectedly turned black a few years ago that Trump learned she was black. Now she wants to be identified as black, too. I have respect for both of them, but it's clear that she doesn't, because she went from being completely Indian to suddenly identifying as black. Harris has always been proud of her Indian and black heritage, as pointed out by Geraghty. She even went to Howard University, a historically black college in Washington, D.C. Was the vibrant Indian campus culture at Howard University a factor in her decision to attend that school in 1981, when she was 17 years old? Written by Geraghty. Do you honestly believe this is going to influence anyone to vote for Trump? Also, according to Geraghty, Trump's criticism of Harris was just as tone-deaf, racially preoccupied, and presumptuous as Joe Biden's statement to African American supporters, "You ain't black," when asked if they were still going to choose Trump or him. Trump probably won't apologize, Geraghty remarked, referring to Biden. The question of whether authentically black is an actual notion or merely a product of politically correct stereotyping that forces African Americans to believe, say, and do certain things is open to debate. However, if the concept of authentically black exists, it should not be defined by old white men. We have sent an email request for comment to Trump's office. Harris shot back at Trump, calling his comments the same old show from when she was in office. Donald Trump's incivility and division are unbecoming of the American people, she remarked. Harris detailed her mother's efforts to raise her and her sister as black Californians in her 2019 memoir, The Truths We Hold, writing that this was the socially acceptable way to raise them.